Level 1 Personal Threat. Joker. You ever met someone who turns every bad day into their personal Netflix special? That's the Joker. He doesn't want world domination or political chaos. He wants you to cry in HD. He's the guy that walks into your life, breaks everything you love, and calls it performance art. When he shot Barbara Gordon in The Killing Joke, it wasn't random. It was a twist love letter to Commissioner Gordon designed to peel his sanity apart frame by frame. The photo, the laughter, the humiliation, it's a psychological power move. Joker's favorite game isn't chess, it's therapy sessions you never asked for. And when he blew up Jason Todd in A Death in the Family, sure, it looked like a big comic book chaos, but really it was the ultimate personal betrayal. Jason wasn't just Batman's sidekick. He was the kid Bruce tried to save from his own trauma. Joker turned that bond into emotional confetti. What I think is wild is that he never swings at cities. He swings at souls. His violence is poetry written in nervous breakdowns. The goal isn't mass panic. It's watching one person's life dissolve under the weight of guilt. The Joker's real trick is that he doesn't break people to destroy them. He breaks them to see what they become. Every time he faces Batman, it's not will the hero win, it's how long until he snaps to. Which is why I think he's less of a villain and more of a human stress test. On top of that, he's funny to himself. To everyone else, he's the living proof that one bad joke can end your career, your morals, and your entire grip on reality. He doesn't want your city, he wants your peace of mind. The man's basically chaos with a punchline. And if you ever tempted to laugh along, just remember, his idea of a knock-knock joke ends with therapy bills. Two-Face. Harvey Dent used to be Gotham's golden boy. Clean suit, clean morals, clean jawline. The kind of guy mom points at and says, "Why can't you be like him?" And then someone threw acid in his face and suddenly he went from courtroom hero to walking moral coin toss. Literally. He flips a coin to decide who lives or dies because trusting his instincts got him melted. But here's where it gets messy. Harvey's not chasing world destruction, he's chasing closure. His crimes are like therapy sessions gone rogue. In The Long Halloween, we watch him crumble under the tiny compromises. One deal with the mob, one secret favor, and when his face splits, so does his sanity. Two-Face isn't a new man, he's Harvey trying to make sense of his own failure. The coin is his coping mechanism. Heads, he's the hero he was. Tails, he's the monster he became. Either way, he's punishing himself. What's worse is that everyone who loved him, including Batman, Gordon, his wife, has to watch him justify cruelty as justice. His targets aren't random. They're personal. Old colleagues, ex-friends, the people who believed in him. Harvey's vendettas feel like awkward breakups with extra bullets. At his core, Two-Face is a man who can't stop rerunning his own downfall. He's not trying to break the world, just the people who saw him fall. And maybe flip enough coins until one finally lands on peace. Spoiler, it never does. He's the kind of guy who says fate decides, but keeps flipping until it tells him what he wants. Level 2, City Threat. Penguin. If Gotham had LinkedIn, Oswald Cobblepot would be the guy sending those "let's connect" messages right before blackmailing you. Penguin isn't the type to blow up a city block. He's the type to own the block, raise the rent, and then sell it to someone already in debt to him. Ever since his debut in Detective Comics number 58, he's been Gotham's walking spreadsheet. With every handshake, every loan, every favor meticulously logged in his invisible ledger. He dresses like old money because he keeps people from noticing how sharp the math is behind that monocle. His power doesn't come from brute force, but from polite extortion. You know, the Iceberg Lounge? It isn't just a club. It's a place where the city's future gets decided over overpriced cocktails and quiet threats. One mayor gets a free bottle of champagne. Another gets photos he'd rather keep off the front page. Penguin's brilliance is in how slow his damage spreads. It's not the kind of crime that gets headlines. It's the kind that rots institutions, one bribe, one permit, one favor at a time. You can't arrest corruption when it's wearing a tuxedo and paying its taxes. On top of that, he knows his role. He's not chasing chaos like Joker or revenge like Two-Face. He's the middleman between morality and money, running Gotham's underworld like a luxury brand. The city never collapses under Penguin. It sinks gracefully into debt. And if he ever offers you a drink, don't worry about poison, worry about the bill. Riddler. Edward Nygma is what happens when your class's smartest kid grows up and decides his pop quizzes should have murder counts. He's the villain who doesn't rob banks, he robs your confidence. Since Detective Comics number 140, his crimes have been puzzles wrapped in ego, forcing Gotham to prove it's smarter than him. The problem? Gotham barely passed middle school civics. Every riddle he plants is a group project that the whole city fails. He shuts down train lines, hijacks broadcasts, and sets traps that require teamwork, something Gotham's institutions couldn't fake if they tried. What I think makes it even worse is how personal it all feels. Riddler isn't after destruction, he's after humiliation. He wants cops, the mayor, even Batman to trip over his logic and then have to publicly admit they didn't get the joke. His crimes don't just hurt people, they expose how badly Gotham runs when the smartest guy in the room is evil and has good grammar. In Hush, we see that obsession reach genius levels, when his riddles become a mirror for everyone's secrets, turning detective work into self-sabotage. He doesn't want Gotham gone, he wants it educated, one breakdown at a time. The city keeps failing the test, and he keeps giving pop quizzes with higher stakes. He's basically Gotham's worst tutor, smug, petty, and right way too often. If you ever hear him say, "Riddle me this," it's already too late. You're the homework. Level 3, Constitutional Threat, Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor doesn't throw punches, he signs laws. His idea of a battle plan is a spreadsheet with a murder count in the footnotes. Ever since his debut in Action Comics number 23, I think Lex has been less of a supervillain and more of a walking TED Talk on late capitalism. He doesn't need to destroy the world when he can just buy it and then write the rules. While Superman's busy catching planes, Lex is drafting bills that make sure the next one doesn't take off without his company's logo on it. I think what makes him dangerous is that his evil looks legal. He funds hospitals that conveniently owe him politically loyally. He builds schools that quietly rewrite science textbooks to make Superman look like an alien threat. And when he wants revenge, he doesn't reach for kryptonite. He reaches for campaign donations and patent law. His genius is knowing that the system doesn't have to be broken for him to win. It just has to run exactly as designed. He's like if capitalism grew a brain and maybe a grudge. By the time Lex runs for president, it's not a twist, it's a natural career move. Every crime he commits comes with a press release. He weaponizes bureaucracy, privatizes heroism, and makes corruption look like civic responsibility. On top of that, he's smart enough to convince the public he's saving them from Superman's alien interference. Lex doesn't want a nuke or an army, he wants a signature on the dotted line. And if you ever shake his hand, check your wallet and your constitution. Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller runs Washington like it's a group project she doesn't trust anyone else to finish. She's not out here in a cape or a lair, she's in a boardroom, one phone call away from rewriting foreign policy. Ever since her debut in Legends number 1, Waller's been the face of quiet authority. No mask, no catchphrase, just results. She's the kind of woman who could run a coup during her lunch break and still make it home in time for dinner. Her empire is paperwork. She builds, kills teams out of convicts, straps bombs to their necks, and calls it Task Force X, also known as the Suicide Squad. To her, it's not evil, it's efficiency. She turns criminals into government assets, and morality into math. What I think makes it even worse is how she never flinches. Every mission, every life, every acceptable loss is logged and justified in triplicate. Her weapon isn't violence, it's the memo that authorizes it. Amanda's reach is national because she controls the pipelines of power. She decides who gets funded, who disappears, and who ends up being classified. Heroes can punch aliens all day long, but they can't punch a signed order, and that's Waller's playground, the legal gray zone where patriotism and manipulation shake hands. She doesn't need to be loved, she doesn't even need to be right. She just needs the job done and the country intact. If Lex Luthor is America's face of ambition, Amanda Waller is its conscience on vacation. And if she ever smiles at you, it's already too late. You're on a mission. Level 4 Regional Threat, Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul doesn't conquer countries, he composts them. Since Batman number 232, this man has treated geopolitics like gardening, pruning civilizations the way others trim bonsai. His empire, the League of Assassins, doesn't march in with tanks or nukes, it just quietly replaces key people until an entire nation starts following his script. He's the kind of guy who would poison a river, watch it collapse a government, then calmly plant a new regime in the ashes, all while sipping tea. His genius is patience. Ross doesn't want instant control, he wants control that lasts a millennium. He builds empires like he's designing a luxury watch, slow, precise, and horrifyingly expensive. On top of that, he knows how to make moral decay look like progress. When ministers, generals, or CEOs deal with him, they aren't forced, they're seduced. He offers them clean cities, stable economies, and efficient governance, conveniently skipping the part where dissenters vanish and nature is weaponized. His wars look like reforms until you realize the new laws come written in his handwriting. Batman may fight him with fists and ideals, but Ross always wins with time. He doesn't just beat heroes, he outlives them. Between his Lazarus pits and endless planning, he's the man who saw climate change coming centuries ago and decided to speed it up for balance. He's the regional power who thinks extinction is landscaping. If Gotham is a city that never sleeps, Ross is the guy who turned the lights off to save energy. Black Adam. If Superman is a symbol of hope, Black Adam is the clapback. Since his debut in the Marvel Family #1, he's been the walking definition of fine, I'll do it myself. His home, Kahndaq, is basically a whole country built on his trauma response. Every dictator says they're protecting their people. Black Adam actually does it, just with lightning bolts instead of laws. He's the kind of leader who stops corruption by personally punching it into orbit. You would think Black Adam's rule feels righteous until you live under it. He rebuilds cities, kills warlords, and delivers justice faster than any court. But there's no appeal process when your ruler can vaporize you. What's wild is how right he often is. In a world full of foreign invaders and corrupt politicians, his heavy-handed leadership makes sense. On top of that, his people love him, which makes him impossible to topple without looking like the bad guy. While the Justice League sees tyranny, Kahndaq sees peace and functioning healthcare. His real power isn't magic, it's control. He doesn't just rule with fear, he builds an actual state around it, with soldiers, schools, infrastructure, even propaganda that paints him as divine protector. That's why he's a regional threat, not a global one. He doesn't want to rule the world, he wants his part of it left alone, even if that means burning the borders to keep everyone out. Black Adam isn't trying to start World War III, he's simply trying to stop his neighbors from parking on his lawn. Level 5, Planetary Threat, Brainiac. When Brainiac shows up, you don't get explosions or speeches. You get shrink rays and panic. Since Action Comics number 242 in 1958, this green-skinned data hoarder has been flying around the universe collecting civilizations, which is a nice way of saying he kidnaps entire cities and keeps them in glass jars like a psychopath doing science fair projects. His favorite trophy? Kandor, Superman's hometown on Krypton. He didn't destroy it, he miniaturized it because apparently destruction's too basic when you can have a shelf display instead. What I think makes him dangerous is his professionalism. Brainiac doesn't rage, he audits. He sees civilizations as test subjects, not people. Every time he arrives, it's like a cosmic museum exhibit gone rogue. Whole cultures become samples, and the more he collects, the more he proves that life only matters when he fits neatly into his archives. On top of that, he calls this genocide preservation, which makes him sound like the world's most gaslighty librarian. In Jeff Johns' 2008 Brainiac run, he upgrades from shrinking cities to scanning and downloading planets because why steal one city when you can just copy-paste an entire species? He's global because every world he visits ends up rewritten into data. Governments can't even prepare for him because his invasions look like research. Superman doesn't just punch Brainiac, he's fighting an idea. That existence itself can be cataloged and controlled. And if Brainiac ever built a museum on Earth, humanity would be that one exhibit called Before. Doomsday. Doomsday doesn't invade planets, he deletes them. Since Superman, the Man of Steel number 18 in 1992, this bone-covered monster has been the DC Universe's version of a natural disaster with fists. He doesn't have a speech, a plan, or even a personality. He's basically evolution's "I'm tired of this" button. Every time he dies, he comes back immune to whatever killed him, like a violent software update nobody asked for. When Doomsday hits a planet, the map starts needing edits. Cities crumble, economies tank, and suddenly the United Nations is holding emergency meetings about whatever that was. The worst part, he doesn't hate anyone. He's not mad, he's just built to destroy. His idea of a hobby is erasing civilizations, and the more resistance he meets, the stronger he becomes. On top of that, his fights don't stop when the heroes win. They leave scars that governments have to build around. After all, rebuilding Metropolis isn't cheap. His global power isn't about control, it's about consequence. I think even just the rumor of him showing up is enough to change international policy. Entire armies mobilize, cities evacuate, and Superman starts writing his will. His debut in the Death of Superman storyline, where he legit murdered Superman, turned a comic into a worldwide panic event. Because Doomsday doesn't fight wars, he ends them. Honestly, I think he's the reason Kryptonian insurance rates would be insane. Doomsday doesn't do politics, diplomacy, or conversation. He just walks through your planet like it's a drywall, and you're the noise complaint. Level 6, Universal Threat, Darkseid. When Darkseid shows up, it's not an invasion, it's a court hearing for existence itself. Since his first cameo in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 134 in 1970, this stone-faced god of tyranny has been less about blowing stuff up and more about rewriting reality so that hope counts as a crime. He doesn't yell, he legislates. Every word he says feels like a final verdict. He doesn't just want obedience, he wants the idea of disobedience gone. His whole goal is the anti-life equation, which is a cosmic math problem that turns I think into I serve. What's terrifying is how systematic he is. Darkseid doesn't conquer planets like a warlord, he runs them like a miserable HR department. His world, Apocalypse, is a nightmare factory filled with literal fire pits, endless labor, and zero holidays. Everyone worships him, not out of love, but because there's no emotional bandwidth left for rebellion. What's even worse is that he's not loud about it. He wins by making despair feel normal. When he takes over minds in Final Crisis, he doesn't scream, he broadcasts. Suddenly, billions of people wake up with hope deleted and loyalty installed. That's why he's cosmic level. His power doesn't stop at borders or planets. It rewrites how reality feels about freedom. Superman can punch him all day, but you can't uppercut an ideology. Beating Darkseid isn't about strength. It's about proving people still want to say no. He's the universe's worst manager, eternal, unbothered, and allergic to joy. Necron. If Death had a CEO, it'd be Necron. First appearing in Tales of the Green Lantern Corps #2 in 1981, this skeleton-faced cosmic tyrant doesn't invade worlds, he empties graveyards. His business model's simple. The more people die, the bigger his army gets. During Blackest Night, he basically turned the universe into zombies. Every hero who ever died came back as a Black Lantern, powered by pure grief and terrible timing. Necron isn't fueled by hate or ego, he's powered by absence. He treats the afterlife like real estate, flipping the dead into soldiers because technically they're not using their bodies anymore. What I think is scary is how personal his war feels. When your dead loved ones come back quoting your deepest regrets, it's hard to stay strategic. On top of that, he doesn't need armies or tech. His power spreads like butter on toast. Every tombstone becomes a recruitment poster. He's cosmic level because his reach covers everything that lives, has lived, or will die, which is, everyone. His goal isn't to rule the living, it's to remind the universe that life was a temporary glitch. While Darkseid remains despair logical, Necron makes it eternal. The Lantern Corps fights him with light, hope, and friendship, which sounds great until your grandma shows up possessed. Level 7, Multiversal Threat, Perpetua. Perpetua doesn't destroy worlds, she revives them. Since her reveal in Justice League Annual #1 and her reign across Dark Knight's death metal, she's basically the cosmic version of I can fix him, except him is the entire multiverse. She treats existence like a rough draft that keeps failing her vibe check. Whole planets, timelines, and histories get deleted because she doesn't like the tone. Heroes wake up one morning suddenly remembering different parents or entire wars that never happened simply because Perpetua decided the plot needed more drama. Her power isn't explosions or armies, it's authorship. She controls the past, the present, and the footnotes. When she rewrites something, it sticks and everyone else just adjusts. The Justice League spends entire storylines trying to prove that their memories are real while she's already halfway through the next rewrite. What I think makes it even worse is that she's completely calm about it. She's like that editor who cuts your favorite paragraph for flow, except now that paragraph was an entire dimension. She's multiversal because her edits apply everywhere. One rewrite from her and millions of realities autocorrect. That's what makes her terrifying. She doesn't need soldiers when she can just retcon you out of existence. To her, universes are paragraphs and continuity errors are morality sins. Her endgame is a perfect story told only by her. She's the mother of creation, but with strict my house, my rules energy. The Anti-Monitor. If Perpetua is the writer, the Anti-Monitor is the IRS auditor. Since Crisis on 1985's Crisis on Infinite Earths, he's been out here doing cosmic math like one too many universes? Delete them. He doesn't rage, he reconciles. His entire job is to balance reality's books by wiping out whatever looks redundant. Whole planets? Gone. Alternate timelines? Consolidated. Multiverse? Downsized. It's not personal, it's just policy. And the scary part is how logical he is. While other villains scream and monologue, the Anti-Monitor quietly erases existence because it's inefficient. When he drains a world into antimatter, it's like watching an accountant delete your memories for being off budget. And because he's so methodical, fighting him feels impossible. Superman and the rest just don't have to punch harder, they have to prove the universe deserves to exist at all. On top of that, every win against him feels temporary, like reality's on borrowed time until his next audit. He's the multiversal because his scope isn't a galaxy or a timeline, it's everything. His actions reshape creation itself. When he hits delete, infinite Earths vanish like catched tabs. The hero's biggest sacrifice in Crisis wasn't losing cities, it was watching entire histories merge into one. The Anti-Monitor's cruelty is clean, cold, and corporate. He doesn't need hate when he has efficiency. Well, that's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers and see you in the next one.